in Espanol. With that, want to give a huge thank you to Thor Kuhn, who is working our slideshow behind the scenes, as well as Gisela Escobar, who is providing our translation on the backside. So we couldn't do this without our folks that are working behind the scenes. So thank you very much to you two and to our staff that are with us tonight. And we can go ahead and get started. Thor, go ahead and transition us to the next slide. So my name is Brian Bailey. I'm the principal of Tigard High School. This will be my second year at Tigard High. Excited to be here, excited for all of you that are joining us tonight. Our focus tonight is primarily for our incoming 9th grade parents and students, as well as our new students, but we welcome everybody to be here tonight, and this might be just some refreshers for some of you. But tonight's presentation is going to focus on kind of the logistics around Tigard High and what we stand for, what we're all about, and how we're going to work with particularly our new students as we transition in. So if we can go to the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about our mission statement. We want to focus on building relationships, engaging our students, creating an equitable community to foster diverse lifelong learners. And we know that engagement in this virtual environment is going to be significantly different than what any of us have ever experienced in our careers before. We had the opportunity in the spring to learn quite a bit. We learned some things that went well, and we learned some things that didn't go well. And we've gathered feedback from students and staff and parents about the process in the spring, and we've tried to apply that into our planning for the fall. And I think that we're going to see something that is drastically different. What we talk about with folks all the time is in the spring, we were in crisis response mode, and we responded within 24 hours to an order from the governor and from the Department of Education to change the way that we do school. And our folks did an amazing job in doing that with little to no notice. What we're excited to bring forward this fall is a new focus on rigor, on relationships, on deep learning and understanding, and it will be different. It will be trying at times, but I promise you that we have a group of professionals that are going to be there for you and your kids in a way that is going to be new for everybody. If you're on social media at all, you've probably seen the memes that every teacher will be a first-year teacher this year, and that is very, very true. So we're going to ask for some grace at times, and we're going to afford a lot of grace to the kids and families that we work with. But what I promise you is that our commitment to this mission statement about relationships and engaging students and creating and fostering lifelong learners doesn't change just because we're in a virtual environment. Go to the next slide, please. In order to do this work and in order to be there for your students and to show up for your students, we have a large team. And this team is not just the folks that you're going to see tonight, but the folks that you're going to see tonight are crucial in pulling off the work that we're trying to accomplish. And so, as I said in the beginning, my name is Brian Bailey. I'm the principal. This will be my second year at Tigard High. I've lived in Tigard for over 20 years. This is my community. My neighbors go to school here. My neighbors' kids go to school here. My friends' kids go to school here. My own kid goes to school here. And that's something that is, this place has become deeply personal to me, and I'm excited to head into my second year. And I'm going to have some other folks that are with us tonight hop on the camera and introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about the roles that they play at Tigard High School. We'll start with Tyler Davila.
Yep, so just like Brian said, my name's Tyler Davila. I'm one of the 3 associate principals here. I've been here for 4 years. First year was a dean, and I've been the associate principal for 3 years now. I support students and families with the last names A through GRE, along with my 2 counselors, Tori Alderman and Erica Bonilla. Some of the areas that I oversee are freshman success, college and career readiness, as well as the alternative ed programs that we offer here at Tigard High.
All right, Lisa Daly, can you pop on and say hello for us?
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa Daly, and I support students and families with the last names GRI to PAQ, and I'm the administrator for language arts, math, and special education, and I'm just really excited to meet you and your student this year.
Thank
Hello,
you.
welcome
Anelita,
everybody. Oh,
go ahead.
hello, welcome everybody. I'm Angelita Miller. I'm an associate principal here and I support students and families with the last names of PAR through Z, the end of the alphabet. And I oversee the World Language Department, the Science Department, some of the arts departments, and AVID. And this will be my 6th year at Tigard High.
Great, thank you. A couple of other key people that you can see on the screen there. Michael Shear is our Dean of Students, also works very closely with our SRT program, one of our alternative ed programs that we have in the building, as well as Alan Boschma, who is our athletic director. And so both of those gentlemen also play a key role in supporting students throughout the school day. We can go ahead and go next slide. We have another group of people on the next slide here. You can see our counselors. As a couple of our assistant principals noted, our counselors are broken into alphabet groups similar to our administrators. So each of our 3 associate principals meet with 2 or work closely with 2 counselors who have a caseload within those alphabet groups, and those will be for grades 9 through 12 for all of their students within those alpha sorting. We've had a lot of folks reaching out to their counselors recently, which is very good. We appreciate that. My one ask over the next couple of weeks, we are working very diligently to build a master schedule. So Lisa Daly, while she didn't mention this in her intro, plays a key role with our counselors in building that master schedule. So in a normal year, we're not able to publish student schedules until the week before school starts. That doesn't change this year. In fact, it's compacted. Normally we begin that process in April and it takes us several months to complete. And Lisa and her team of counselors are going to try to complete that in about 3 weeks. So we ask for a little bit of grace with that. If they're not responding to your emails or your phone calls right away, please know that it is because they are extremely busy putting together a master schedule for 1,800 students over the next couple of weeks. Next slide. We are fortunate in the state of Oregon to have some resources from the state that allows us to hire additional staff members to support our students in maybe what some would consider untraditional ways. And so in years past, it might have just been administrators and counselors that were the primary roles to support our students and families. And we're fortunate in Tigard-Tualatin and in the state of Oregon to have Measure 98 dollars, which allow us to hire some additional staff members to support our students. And the 2 that you will get to meet at least one of them tonight as a part of this presentation, but our on-track coordinators work very closely with our students as soon as they begin in 9th grade all the way through their senior year. There are some subgroups that they will work more closely with, but even the larger groups, they are tracking data, they are supporting students and following along with their attendance and their grades and making sure that our students from day 1 are on track to graduate. And Cindy Polici and Najwa Suelam do a phenomenal job of building close connections with students as well as working closely with our staff members and tracking the data to make sure that our students are successful. I mentioned earlier our culturally responsive coordinator, Gigi Escobar. She is providing our translation on the backside of this, and in our little private chat function that you guys can't see, she's telling me to slow down so that she can translate. I will do my best, Gigi. She is a phenomenal resource specifically for our Spanish-speaking students and families to build connections in the school. And we're bringing alongside her in our family partnership liaison, Vidi Morales, to also support our students, our Spanish-speaking students and families as we move into this year. I apologize again, Gigi, for going too fast. And so I will try to slow down and let you catch up. But at this point, I want to actually introduce to you Najwa and Najwa Suelam to say hello. And then we're going to hand it over to Cindy Polici for the next part of our presentation.
Hi, I'm Najwa Suelam. This is my 2nd year at Tigard High School as an on-track coordinator. I also work with the 9th and 11th grade squads, and I'm very excited about continuing our freshman success work this year. Over to you, Cindy.
Thanks, everybody. And I'll try to give Gigi a break by slowing down a little bit compared to Brian. So I hope that this is good. Thor, can you go to the next slide, please? Great, thank you. So preparing for high school is something that everybody has been doing for quite a long time. And, you know, high school success starts today. It really has to do with your attitude, the amount of effort you plan to put in. So we put together some bullet points here to help everybody out. So a routine is something that we heard from our students and our parents in the spring that was lacking. It was really difficult for people to kind of create their own routine. So make a routine, stick to it, and being present is something that's really important in the virtual community. So attendance will be kept this school year. You're expected to log into your classes at the beginning of your class period time every single day that you have a scheduled class. So your freshman year is really about learning how to be a high school student. And a lot of attention is focused on the grade. But what I would like for you to think about is if you don't get the grade that you wanted, then what went wrong that you could change for the next time. So it's really about reflecting. Our data indicates that if a student has a 3.0 GPA or better, so that's a B grade point average in high school, then they are more likely to be successful at college. So we always tell students to strive for Bs or better. There's no reason to accept missing work or zeros. So turn everything in, even if you think it's late, even if you think it's not done well enough. It's really important that you get in the habit of turning every single thing in. Like Mr. Bailey said, we have a great staff of teachers who care about our students and our students' families. So there is never a time you should hesitate to reach out to teachers who want to help. And I know it's difficult, especially right now in pandemic times, and we're all at home more, and we're really used to being on our devices for social reasons or just to tune out or to read or to listen to music. It's important to make sure that you're giving as much time to your schoolwork as you do when you're on the phone playing Roblox and things like that. Next slide, please, Thor. So a lot of people have been asking, what is our school schedule going to look like? And it's called a 4x4 model. So traditionally, we normally would have 8 classes at a time, and we would run on an A and B day schedule. Well, we're not doing that right now. In order to help manage course load and workload for both staff, students, and their families supporting them, students are only going to be taking 4 classes per semester. Then at the second semester, they'll switch to another 4 classes. That would result in 8 credits per year, which is what we normally would have, but we would be doing them on a different schedule. So students are no longer going to have to balance managing 7 or 8 classes at a time. Students will be able to focus more acutely on 4 classes at a time. So you can see in the next bullet point here that it's 4 60-minute classes a day. We give extra 15 minutes in the morning during period 1 for students to do what we call an SEL check-in or to do some goal setting. And SEL stands for social emotional learning. So we're going to be trying to make sure that our students are well taken care of inside the virtual classroom setting and in their homes. So we are also giving students a break in between classes of 15 minutes. You can see we have passing period in quotes there. You're not really going anywhere different except from probably one place on your computer to another. So that's what we'll be calling passing. Does anybody have anything else to add on that?
I would just add that this is one of those areas where I hope that our students and parents and teachers feel heard from the feedback that we received in the spring in our crisis response. Trying to manage 7 or 8 classes at a time was unmanageable for many of us. And so this is an opportunity to provide students with the same experiences that they would have had, the same number of opportunities that they would have had in a regular year, but narrowing our focus down so that they can really intently and as Cindy said, acutely focus on 4 classes at a time. It also allows us to reduce our cohort sizes so that if and when we are able to return to hybrid learning and bring in some cohorts, part of the class at a time, our classes will be small enough that the space will allow us to do that.
Next slide, please, Thor. So I wanted to put a visual up here for everybody. So this is what our day-to-day schedule looks like, and I'll just quiet down for a second and just let you take a look at that. So you can see that students will be engaged in learning from about 10 in the morning till about 3:30 in the afternoon. That's not going to be all synchronous or live session learning. There are independent work and asynchronous work sessions in there, and that will vary from day to day, from teacher to teacher. And there'll be that Wednesday where students are expected to do a 30-minute check-in, and then they'll have independent work time while we on the back end as a staff get together and really kind of reflect and plan and be able to deliver high level, rigorous content to every student. Next slide, please. So this is one of the most frequent questions that we get. How is virtual learning this fall going to be different than it was in the spring? So like we previously said, you're only going to have 4 classes at a time. Unlike the spring term, your work will be graded with letter grades A through F, and it will count towards your cumulative GPA for your whole high school experience. So what that means is how you do your freshman year significantly impacts what colleges, what universities, what jobs, and what training and technical programs you're going to be able to get into based on how you do. Learning and assessment are going to be far more rigorous as well this fall. And we have a new learning management platform called Canvas. So again, we took the feedback from students and parents that were saying it's very difficult to go to 7 different Google Classrooms, to get bombarded with emails. So what we have now is we have one succinct platform that everybody will be accessing that has all of their classes in it in one place.
A good question came up in the Q&A about GPA, and so I'll take just a second and explain what that is. That is a grade point average, and it is a mathematical calculation of students' grades over the course of their 4 years in high school. So an A is worth 4 points. A 4.0 student with their GPA would receive straight A's their entire time through high school. B's are worth 3. C's are worth 2, D's are worth 1, and F's are worth 0. So as those are calculated and averaged in the grade point average, that is how somebody earns and accumulates their GPA.
And a great thing is on Student View, your GPA will be automatically calculated for you. On the left-hand column of Student View under Course History, once you have your first grades inputted onto your transcript, what will happen at the quarter mark this year, you'll see your GPA automatically tabulated up there. Next slide, please. So this question I love to answer. I've been an on-track coordinator. This is my 4th year, and I have been in the district for 14 years. I was at Fowler Middle School for 10 years, so go Falcons, yay Tigers. Freshman year is incredibly important. A lot of people come out of middle school saying it doesn't matter, it's not important. I'm just going to try really hard when I get to high school. I hope that wasn't anybody who's on this Zoom chat right now, but freshman year is really important. So being an on-track coordinator, one thing that we learned is how students do freshman year is the most predictive event of graduation. So if students do well and they're on track to graduate at the end of freshman year, they're 3.5 times more likely to graduate on time with their peers. So how you do freshman year shows us and tells us how you are probably going to graduate on time with your peers. And that's really, really important. So I'm proud over the last 4 years that our on-track rates have grown significantly. This past year, we had 98% of our freshmen who were on track to graduate at the end of last year. So I'm really proud of the work we've done and the team and all of the effort that all of our students have put in, and they understand this and they're working so hard. So freshman year is incredibly important. Next slide, please. One of the things with GPA is we're lucky, as Mr. Bailey said, that in the state of Oregon, there are funds for certain things. And one of them is the Oregon Promise. So if students graduate from high school with a 2.5 GPA or higher, and they plan on attending an Oregon community college, they can do so tuition free. And I don't know if you guys like free stuff as much as I do. I like going to Costco on the weekends, where back in the day before the pandemic hit and you could get free samples and you can get free lunch walking around, but free samples at Costco are great, but free college is even better. If a 2-year community college is not what you're interested in, maybe you're interested in a 4-year university. PSU has 4 years for free. Again, if you have a GPA of 3.2 or higher and you qualify for the Pell Grant, you can get 4 years of tuition for free. So your first day of freshman year, if you keep that mindset about going to school for free, it makes it a lot easier to turn those assignments in and to work really hard, knowing that you have a free tuition at the end of that tunnel. Thank you. Like I said, I transferred up to the high school with this year's seniors. So the kids I left Fowler with are going to be seniors this year. And one of the things that I love so much about Tigard High School is the community. And our community has changed. As you can see up here on this slide, we have some Bitmoji classrooms. We've got Zoom meetings. We've got graduation ceremonies. And I know it feels like it's going to be forever until we're back in the classroom together, but it is going to happen. But even before we get that, our teachers are working really hard to learn how to build a virtual classroom community. And we're going to make sure that that happens. First and foremost, before any academic and content gets delivered, we're going to make sure that we're connected to our students and our students feel like they belong to the Tigard High School community, even before they step foot through that door. And I recently went back to the high school, speaking of stepping foot through that door, and wow, the phase 3 construction in the building is awesome. I can't wait to see everybody's faces when they get to see it. Next slide, please. So one of the best things about Tigard High School that I hear from all of my students compared to middle school is how many clubs and activities and opportunities they have. We're going to try our hardest to have clubs still meet and hang out together and learn about all of these things. So we have over 40 clubs up here on the screen. You guys can just take a look. We've got all different kinds of things. Basically, the point here is to let you know, as a student and as a parent of an incoming student, we have something at Tigard High School for everybody. We don't have students at Tigard High School who feel like they have no one. That is our goal, and we will continue to work really hard, whether we're virtually or in the building, for that.
Yeah, I would just add to that research is overwhelming. If students are engaged and involved in some sort of co-curricular or extracurricular activity, their likelihood of being academically successful is significantly higher. In some research, you will see, as we talked about the grade point average earlier, there will be as high as a 1.0 increase in a student's GPA just based on whether or not they're involved in something. So find something that you're involved in, get engaged, be active. And if you don't see a club on here that you are interested in, and you have another idea, bring that forward to us. And we are happy to start and create new clubs all the time in order to meet students' needs.
Yep, every single one of the clubs you see on the screen right now was started by students. They have faculty advisors, but every single one up here is started by students at our school. Next slide, please. Athletics is a really big part of high school for a lot of our students. Right now, the OSAA has delayed all high school sports until the spring. So that even includes fall and winter sports. So if you're a fall sport athlete and you're pretty bummed out that it's not going to be happening, keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully it'll be happening in the spring. But things you need to know, we have athletic eligibility. So you have to earn a minimum number of credits each year in order to participate in sports. With our new schedule of only taking 4 classes at a time, it's also really important to know you have to be enrolled in at least 3 classes and passing at least 3 of your 4 classes in order to participate in our sports programs. Next slide, please. So high school offers some very rigorous opportunities for our students. Even starting in freshman year, you can get honors courses in our freshman courses like English. We have dual credit courses. We have honor school, and we have international baccalaureate or IB classes and an IB diploma also available. And there's a lot more information on our homepage about these programs for you and your student.
One of the common questions we get for incoming ninth graders is what does dual credit mean? And what dual credit is an opportunity for students to take a high school course and earn both high school credit and college credit at the same time. And those college credits are transcribed on a college transcript that will go with you and at the very least be counted towards the required electives in degree programs, and oftentimes can be counted towards their core. We have hundreds of credits that are earned each year by students at the college level that translates into thousands and thousands of saved dollars for families when they go on to college afterwards.
Next slide, please. So I've got some tips and tricks for students, and don't worry parents, I'm not going to leave you out. You're on the next slide, so don't freak out. So first thing, and I'm going to repeat it again, is set a routine. Wake up at the same time every day, just like you are going to school. Eat breakfast at the same time, take your lunch break at the same time, and try to go to bed at the same time. I know I'm in contact all summer with a lot of my students, and I generally don't text them until like 3 in the afternoon because that's when they're waking up right now. We've got about 3 weeks until you're expected to be back at school. So I would say now start shifting your bedtime back a little bit so you can be ready for that 10 o'clock first period class that you have in a few weeks. So waking up at 3 p.m., you're gonna miss all 4 of your classes if you do that. So you wanna start squeaking it back now. One of the most common things that students struggle with is talking to their teachers. I don't know if it's because you don't think your teachers are real people and they're just teaching robots up there and you're scared to talk to robots, but who isn't? I don't blame you. But communicate your personal needs to your teachers. We're here for you. We want to change stuff up. We want to give you different opportunities to show what you've learned. So communicating with your teacher is going to be really important, especially in this virtual setting. Email, text, remind app, comment back on a Google Doc, any of those things. And one of the biggest things that I learned in the spring was it's more difficult to get my students to participate. So you're going to have to work with your teacher. We're going to have breakout sessions in small groups so you can work in groups with your peers, but it's going to be really important that you participate at every opportunity you can. So we know things change, and especially during COVID times right now, you may not have a need at the beginning of the year. You might have Wi-Fi, you might have great connectivity, but maybe something happens halfway through the semester and that changes. Let your teachers know, let us know, and we'll help you out. Maybe, you're moving and you need some flexibility with due dates. Let us know, let your teachers know. We're really flexible when it comes to things like that. And I'm so lucky to work with a great team of freshman teachers. They're some of the most compassionate and empathetic people that I've ever worked with. So if you're scared to talk to any of them, it's not worth that. They're there for you. And the last thing, I know that it always feels like it's only you who are stressed out about high school, but we've literally had tens of thousands of graduates from Tigard High School. You can totally be successful here too. Next slide, please. All right, parents, you're up. So my son just graduated high school. He's off at college right now. So I know a little bit about this. First thing is, don't treat your high school student like they're a mini adult. They can manage a lot, but they can't manage everything on their own. So don't let that leash out too far just yet. If you need help, if you lose your job, if, like I said, if you're moving, if just something shifts in your life, and you think it's going to impact how successful your student is going to be at Tigard High School, please let us know. We're here for you as well. You might not be a student enrolled at our school, but you're part of our community, and our community is really important to us. Stay involved. I can't tell you how many times I've asked my son for if he's done his homework, and he says yes, and I say, show it to me, and his answer quickly changes to, well, I'm almost done. So ask to see it. It's okay. If you're not sure if your kid turned something in, feel free to email or remind. I know we have parents on the Remind app now. That's a texting app that the district has. Text the teacher, email the teacher, call the teacher. It's totally fine. Check their phones. If you see anything inappropriate on there, I would say it's a good thing to just do pop quiz phone checks and just to make sure that everything is I always think about students' social and emotional health when I think about their phones. Having phones turned off for a certain period of time, I think, is always a good thing. Set boundaries around sleeping, nutrition, and socializing, both in person and on social media. So like I said, the bedtime routine and having enough sleep and being ready to shift to daytime learning is going to be a change for a lot of teens. If you don't have Parent View already, you can call our counseling secretary and get a Parent View password. If you already were signed up for Parent View as a middle school student, it just rolls over, so you don't have to worry about that. We also have social media where a lot of information comes out. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, and we have a Blackboard app. And like I said, we introduced Gigi at the beginning. We have Vidi here now, and you have on-track coordinators and all of the counselors. If you need help or you need clarification or information, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Next slide, please. So here's a list of some opportunities for parents to be involved with the school. So we have our booster club, we have a mentor program. All junior and senior students are assigned a community mentor. We have different parent affinity groups. We have volunteers that come in and help out with a whole bunch of different programs at the school. We have a site council and a parent student organization, our PSO.
Real quick before we jump into some of those other pieces, I just want to reiterate a little bit of what Cindy has said about being involved with your kids, and that, across the nation, certainly in our district and in our state, but across the nation, we see high numbers of parent volunteers and parent involvement at the elementary level. That tends to dwindle a little bit as we go into middle school and can almost feel non-existent at the high school level. And we want to partner with you. We want you involved. It might be more important to be involved in your kids' lives and in their schooling during high school than it is at any other level, because as much as they will, and all the kids that are on the call right now are going to cringe when I say this, but as much as they will tell you they've got this and that they don't need your support, they need it now more than ever. This is when our grades count. This is when they mean something. That transcript becomes a legal document, and that will open or close doors for our students after high school. And having a daughter who is in high school, having a daughter who is in middle school, they will tell me that, Dad, I got this, I got this, I got this. And I owe it to them as their father to make sure that they do, and to check in with their teachers and to check their grades on Parent View, and to remind them to do the things that they need to do, and to check their social media because it can be dangerous. So as much as they will try to tell you they've got it, we're here to tell you most of the time they do, but just in case, double check.
Next slide, please. So this is a great time to put any questions that you have in the Q&A, and we have a expert panel of Tigard High School experts on hand to answer all of your questions as best we can. So that little Q&A button in the bottom, if you go ahead and type some questions in there, we'll be happy to type back or verbally respond.
Yeah, thank you. So we will give you a couple of minutes here of some think time and some time to type into the chat some of those questions that you have. And then I'm going to ask our assistant principals to unmute themselves and read off a couple of the most common questions. And Cindy and myself and our other assistant principals will all be able to chat with you guys for a while and share our responses orally. So we'll give you a couple of minutes to get those into the chat box, and then we'll come back and start answering as best we can. All right, I see them flooding in there. That's awesome. Annalita and Tyler and Lisa, if you want to kind of take turns and go through and read some of the most common ones that are coming up, we will do our best to answer them.
I think people are, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think people are wondering how to get onto the Blackboard app or receive emails from the school.
Yeah, the emails from the school will come from the emails that are registered within Synergy. So our school information system, where how we register our students, as long as we have updated emails in there, that is how we will pull most of the email information that comes through. The Blackboard app is something that can be found in the what is it called? What's the Apple store? You can download the app from Apple or from the Google Play, and it should walk you through how to set that up. I have not done that myself for several years. So I don't know if anybody else has any more current information. It's been a while since I've done it, but that is available in the App Store. That was the word I was looking for.
And along the same lines, families are wondering what the Remind app is.
That's a great question. I'm glad that one was asked. So Remind is a third-party communication tool that many of our teachers and coaches have used in the past. I think at the high school level, between our two comprehensive high schools last year, there were 150 teachers that were using the Remind app. The district has, they were using the free version. The district has now paid for the paid version, which will allow teachers to create groups to communicate with. So they might have a group for their first period class. They might have a group for third period. They might have a group for their parents, and they can sign people up based on who wants to receive communications through the Remind app. It is a really neat tool that will allow us to send out reminders, hence the name Remind. But also with the paid version, we have the ability to send out audio and video messages as well. So if a teacher wants to send a quick video to their class, they can do that through the Remind app, and it'll show up either on their phone if they've downloaded the app, or there's the ability to sign up through email, I believe, as well, so they can get email messages.
Okay.
It's a great way to stay in touch.
So continuing on that topic of communication between the school and families, families are wondering how to check if students are doing their work.
Great question. So in the past, our primary communication around grades has been through parent view, and that parent view information is fantastic after the fact. So we see what grades are in there after they've earned the grades, but depending on how the teacher has set it up, we may not know exactly what they should be working on at that time. Again, as a way to respond to community feedback from the spring, we had parents and students that were asked to log into multiple platforms in order to access their work and to get feedback from their teachers. In response to that, as a district, we are moving in grades K through 12. Every teacher will be posting their assignments and their work in a learning management system called Canvas. We've owned Canvas for quite a while in the district, but it has been significantly underutilized. And what Canvas will allow parents to do through a parent portal, they will have an account and be able to log in and see all of their students, regardless of which schools they're in, the work that they're assigned, the timelines, the due dates, as well as the grades that they've received. So rather than just getting the information after it was already due, you will be able to have a parent view or have a parent login into Canvas and see what your child is supposed to be doing each day, each week, each unit, and so forth. There will be a lot more information coming out around Canvas and communication about that to parents and the community over the next few weeks.
Brian, can you talk a little bit about sports this fall and how that will look?
Yes. So as of right now, there are no sports or activities this fall. We are superintendent and our district leadership are partnering with superintendents and district leadership in other districts in the area, primarily in Washington County. We are working most closely with Hillsborough and Beaverton school districts. And as of right now, the decision has been made to hold off on sports and activities until we're able to return in person. What I will say, however, is that these group of leaders are meeting with each other and updating their status relative to athletics and activities at least monthly, if not more often. Their next meeting is coming up in a few weeks in September. And each time they meet, they may make a change that would allow us to open up. As of right now, our facilities are closed. We should not have anybody on our fields or on our track because we want to do our part as leaders in the community to stem the spread of COVID. And our hope is that if we can, as a community, follow the guidance, stay socially distanced, wear our masks when we need to wear our masks. If we can stem the spread and get the metrics that have been given to us from the state to a point that allows us to come back on campus, then we will be able to start offering some of those physical activities as well. You will hear some districts nearby that are planning on opening up in the next couple of weeks. What we know right now is that in a district our size and in the partner districts that we're working with, we want to make sure before we make that decision that we can do it safely, that we can do it in a way that supports students' mental and emotional needs, because we know that that's important for these students to be together, but that we can do it in a way that keeps them and our coaches and our staff members safe. And like I said, stems the spread of this disease.
And can you also share what kind of electives we offer, and then also how band and orchestra might look this year?
Yeah, so we are planning on running all of our electives. There are only a couple that we are unable to offer in a virtual setting, but for the most part, we're able to offer them. They oftentimes will look different than what we have experienced in the past, but a different band class is still better than no band class. And so Mr. Irving, our band and orchestra instructor, and our choir teacher and our guitar teacher and all of our elective teachers have been spending the last several months really being creative and developing content and strategies that will allow our students to still learn those same skills, but they'll be doing it from home in a virtual sense. As I said, there are very few electives that we're not able to offer. So it would take us the rest of this evening to try to go through every elective that we offer, but I do encourage folks to get onto our school website and go to the counseling department. You can look at the academic planning guide. It will have all of our electives from computer and technology to photo to journalism, band, choir, weight training, PE, just so many broad offerings. Specifically, we could get into our CTE program and construction and auto mechanics, and we have something for every kid here. And we have teachers that have been partnering with colleagues around the state, around the country, and in some cases around the world to figure out creative ways to deliver that content in those classes to our students.
Okay, I have another one here.
Okay.
How about the advisory period and how we're folding in the anti-racism work there?
Yeah, so as Cindy had noted earlier in our schedule, the first 15 minutes of first period, that class is an hour and 15 minutes long as opposed to an hour like the rest of our classes. And within those 15 minutes, that will be where we check in on students' social and emotional learning, check in on their relationships. We will be delivering some digital citizenship, especially early. So how do we operate with each other in a virtual world? And part of that work will also be dedicated over the course of the year to building and developing anti-racism and anti-bias training for our students and our staff. We know that given the circumstances that have been highlighted over the last several months, we have work to do within our community to make sure that all students feel heard, that all students feel respected and appreciated, regardless of the color of their skin, their religious backgrounds, their sexuality, their gender identity. We want to create and foster an environment that is accepting and respectful of all people. And we are all Tigard High School students, staff. We are a Tigard High School family, and we need to take the time to teach each other what that means. And so that will be woven into short 15-minute lessons, 3 or 4 times a week, to cover a lot of really valuable and really important information to make our school community the most positive and accepting community that it can be. And through that community building, we believe that we will be able to help each other strive and be our greatest, be our best selves.
Brian, one question I'm seeing in the chat is about how we're going to do some of our hands-on electives. Things have come up around ceramics, auto shop, things like that. Can you talk a little about that, please?
Yeah, it's a question that I think many of us have been wrestling with since March 12th. How do we build the skills? We can deliver the content and we can deliver the information, but how do we build the skills and how do we practice? And to be totally honest with the group, we don't have all of those answers yet. Some of them may be picking up materials and supplies so that that work can happen while we're at home. Some of it, we've got some programs that are looking at some online curriculum that will allow students to play with their content area in a virtual sense. We've got our construction teacher is partnering with construction teachers from multiple districts, multiple schools and multiple districts to identify a platform that will allow them to still learn the same information and practice in a virtual sense, even if they can't grab a hammer and nail in the shop and build something. So while we don't have all of the answers, what we do have is a committed and creative staff that is looking for any and every opportunity they can to think outside the box. The piece that I would add to this, and I kind of touched on it earlier, this is a global pandemic. So there are orchestra teachers around the country that are around the world that are trying to figure this out and trying to solve this. And so we're not going to just sit back and hope that we get it right. We've got people that are reaching out to their colleagues around the state, around the country, and around the world to figure out how can we make the best of this really challenging situation to get our kids the experiences that they need. Got about 10 minutes left. Any other questions that are popping up that you guys can see? I can't really follow along with the questions because they were coming in pretty quick. Anything else that's sticking out to my team that we want to address for the folks that are here with us?
We also have some people asking about some of the club offerings. They're curious about when they're going to get more information about that, how they'll sign up for a club, especially if we're remote.
Yeah, good question. So normally twice a year we do what's called a club rush, and our clubs set up in the commons or the cafeteria with a table, and they advertise what their club is about, what their mission is, what they're trying to accomplish. And kids have the ability to walk through and check out the various clubs and learn the information and sign up right there if it's something that they're interested in. So we are working with our leadership folks to figure out how best to set up a virtual club rush this fall. So we don't have a lot of those answers right now, but as I answered one of the questions that came through, keep your eyes and ears open, especially for our students. This information will come as we start the school year and as we identify which clubs are able to operate in a virtual sense, how they're going to go about recruiting students and advertising what their mission is and what they hope to accomplish. So that information will all come after school starts, just like it normally does, but this obviously in a virtual manner this year. Trying to scan through a couple of them. So I see a question about sports being pushed back. Since sports are pushed back for the fall and winter till the spring, will a fall sport like football be continued at the same time as a winter sport like basketball? If so, will games and practices overlap? They'll be at the same time. So what the OSAA has said for sports, if you consider, they call them season 1, 2, and 3, but if we said fall sports, football, volleyball, cross country, soccer, all of those typically happen in the fall. This year, beginning in, I believe, December, winter sports are scheduled to start in December in a shortened, truncated season of about, I think the seasons are about 8 weeks long as they have it on their calendar. Then we will transition to fall sports. So football and soccer and volleyball and cross country would happen in February. For, again, an 8-week period. And then the spring sports would happen in the spring and go until the end of June. There will be some overlap between them by about a week or two. But we've already begun conversations and communication with our coaches that if we meet the metrics and we're able to pull off these truncated seasons, our coaches will be sharing not only students, but also their coaching staff with each other as we transition over those weeks that overlap. But it will go this year, if we're able to pull everything off, it will go winter sports first, then fall sports, then spring sports. Team, anything else that's sticking out for you?
Yes, there's a question in the chat. Oh, how do we know when students need to show up for their virtual class?
So that will be the schedule that we went over earlier, and students will be expected to log in at least at the beginning of every period. Sometimes there will be information that's pushed out to them ahead of time to prepare for it. Sometimes it'll be live sessions. Sometimes it'll be logging in and watching a video. It'll vary day by day and teacher by teacher, content by content. What we do know is that this year we are asking every single one of our teachers that teaches the same course together that they will be on the same page. So every, say, geometry teacher, they will have the same standards, they will have the same content, they will have the same assessments. So one of the things that we heard in the spring was experience is varied, student to student, teacher to teacher, subject to subject. And so in order to bring in some consistency, our teachers will be significantly more aligned than they have been in some cases, and that is one of the primary reasons for that Wednesday will be dedicated to collaboration for our teachers to do that. But on those times in the schedule that was outlined previously, students will be expected to log in at the very least at the beginning of each of those classes. If they can't log in at a given time, they've got some issues going on at home or in their personal lives that impacts their ability to log in, they will be expected to communicate with their teacher and their counselor to set up what those expectations will be. But in a very general sense, everybody should log in at the beginning of each of those periods, and attendance will be taken every day by our teachers.
Did we talk about when we're getting our schedule?
Yeah, we need to have that schedule obviously before students start. So our Lisa and her counseling team and her master schedule team are working literally day and night, 7 days a week to try to build this master schedule. We will have it to students prior to the start of the school year. We do have one additional week that since we pushed back the soft start. So sometime within the next, what does that leave us? About almost exactly 2 weeks from today. Those schedules should be out and shared with students and families, hopefully by Friday, the 11th? September 11th is our target to get those out to you.
So usually,
And how,
oh, go ahead.
sorry, Annalita, just to follow up on that, one other question that's coming up related to that is how will they receive those schedules?
We haven't discussed that as a team. Typically normally we have our back to business days and students can pick up their schedules, but because we can't bring people on campus for that, they will likely be emailed home to students and parents. They will also, when they do go live, when we send them out, they will also be available to be viewed on Parent View and Student View.
So normally we do the pre-SAT in the fall, usually in October. We won't be doing that this year, but what about ACT?
We don't know about ACT yet. ACT and pre-ACT are standardized tests that we normally administer in the spring. Our juniors take the ACT and our freshmen and sophomores take the pre-ACT. We don't know yet what that's going to look like. That will all be dependent upon the metrics. What we can't, and we do know, as Annalita referenced, we will not be, administering the PSAT this October because we don't have the ability to bring students on campus to administer that. But we don't know about the spring exams. There is some stress and there is some worry about this, but I want to help everybody kind of take a deep breath and relax, because many of our colleges have, they no longer require those standardized assessments as a part of their admissions process. So they were moving that direction. Most colleges and universities were moving that direction even before COVID. This has forced their hand a little bit, but for our current seniors, our incoming seniors, last year's seniors, they did not have to present standardized tests to be admitted into colleges.
So families are wondering about school IDs.
Yes, so are we. We are working with our partners that normally come and take student pictures. We're trying to decide if we need IDs, what is the purpose of an ID if we're not on campus to begin with. So we are exploring those options. There are some neighboring school districts that have done drive-through photos in order to give them their ID. We're looking at those options. Like many businesses and many organizations during this pandemic, the company that we normally partner with has had to they've had to take some reductions. And so we're considering their staffing needs, we're considering our student safety, our staff safety, and trying to develop a plan to come in and get their pictures taken and to get them some school IDs. We don't know when that's going to happen, but we also know that that's not necessary this year to start like it normally would be in a regular school year.
But their school ID number, their number rolls over from middle school.
Correct. Yep. Every student is given an ID number that stays with them throughout their entire time in the district. And so if you are coming from one of our middle schools, that rolls over with you. If you are a new student that is enrolling with us in our district for the first time, you will be assigned a student ID number that will be in Parent View, Student View, and in our school information system.
So there's still some questions around Blackboard, and so I just wanted to encourage everyone to join the tech Q&A or forum Monday and Tuesday from 5 to 7. It'll also be recorded on our YouTube feed as well.
Thank you. Okay, it is 6 o'clock right now, and hearing the questions kind of slow down. Or Najwa, were you going to say something?
I was just gonna to ask, because I see a question on here about Parent View, Canvas, Blackboard, and Remind, and the person is wondering if that's the full list of apps. Would you suggest that they go to the tech meeting as well? Okay.
Absolutely, yes. It'll be very helpful. In fact, as a parent, I plan on attending because I don't know all of those answers. So I will be doing the same. As I said, folks, it's 6:01 right now. I really appreciate everybody being here tonight. We had upwards of 200 folks at various points throughout this. I appreciate you joining us in this virtual world, this new world, our new reality that we're living in. But thank you for taking the time out of your evening on a Friday night to come and chat with us and to listen to what our team has to say. We look forward to having our kids back, ultimately back in the building, and in the meantime, at least reaching out through our classes and making those connections. We can't do this without you. We can't do this without your partnership. And just the fact that you're here tonight shows that that partnership exists. And so huge thank you on behalf of all of our team to all of you that were able to join us tonight. We really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to a great year. It's going to be amazing. We're going to make the best out of it, and we're going to make it a fantastic experience for all of our students. What we'll do now is Thor is going to shut down our video feed and our audio feed, but we will keep this up and live for a few more moments and try to answer some questions through the Q&A if a few more of those exist. If they don't, thank you again for being here. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the last couple of weeks of summer, and students, for those of the students that are in the room, we can't wait to get you into our school and welcome you as official Tigard Tigers. So thank you very much, everybody.